Hi guys, Joseph here once again. Welcome to this channel. All right, so today we are going to look at something very interesting, which you would love to start adding to your workflow when talking about lighting for your rendering purpose. So basically, what we want to look at is how we can create more interest in your lighting scenario. So if you look at the background here, you see that you have something that looks like um, a detail or maybe a window information which is lighting your object and all of that. So that's basically what we're going to be looking at how to do it. So before now, it used to be that you would have to create geometries in the background and let your light hit the geometry so that it casts shadow. And that's one way of doing that. But if you are trying to avoid using too many geometries so that that's where you can use this approach, which I'm going to be showing you. So it's using what we call the gobos in your lighting. So what basically does it mean? So I'm going to change this into my workflow, my own environment that I've created. And so this is basically what you have. You notice I only have a light, which is lighting the whole stuff. You can see that there's nothing here, which this light is hitting, then it's casting the shadow. If I select this light and I move this light around, you notice also that it start moving. You see that. You see what's happening. So it's really an interesting thing to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete that light so that I'll start from scratch. So you understand how that is done. So I have that light deleted. I also have some lights there just to create a little bit of feel and interest to this. So and then what I also did was for my environment, I just added a very simple light color and just made it 1.5. If I make it 0, everything turns black and I'm just having the lights. These two lights hitting, this one hitting on this side, and then this filling up this blue part. All right. So that's just what that is. But I want to increase this to like 1.2 so that we have like a light going on in the environment. 1.5 is actually good. We have a light going on in the environment. Then we can now have the main light, which is going to be casting those um, Gobos effects to it, or this detail. So I'm going to do that by creating a light, Shift A to come here, or I can just come to add, and then I will see my lights. I'm going to add an area light into my scene, and then I will move the area light up that I've just created, just move it up a little bit and move it out so that it's kind of has the light on that object. What I'm doing basically now is moving this up and then I'm going to be doing a bit of a rotation where I want the light to be casted upon. All right. So doing this so that while I'm casting this on the wall behind, I also want it to have a little bit touching the products, which is this. All right. So I'll do that here and just do a little bit of movement here and then turn it just to have it interacting with that product. Okay. So another thing I can do to see these lights in them in this background is to first off select my lights, increase my power. So let's just increase it to like let's say 2,200, and you can see the light is really hitting it. But I want to see the detail of that light on my wall. And so for me to do that, all I just need to do is to bring my spread a little bit down. To bring my spread down. So if I bring it to like let's say 0, and then I can start to see where the light is hitting and all of the other things. Then you also see your size. Your size will also determine how harsh and how hard your shadow is going to be. So, but first we start with the spread and move this up so that I will start to move this about to see the way this thing is casting. Yeah, that's good. Oh, by the way, the reason why you are seeing this God ray is because I have another object here, which has that volume effect to it. So if I get rid of this guy, let me just hide it. You notice you don't have any God ray anymore. You only have that light. So this is what is adding that interest to it. So let's work without the God ray first so that we can just position this how we want it to be. So we want this to come a little bit up. And maybe I also want to increase this size. So I'll increase this so that that is there. So this is becoming really nice as I want. Control Z, I'm trying to move this a little bit here and also have it just interact like so. I might need to still increase this. Yeah. Okay, so that's fine. And then if I hit N, I want to make sure all of this is rotated properly. So you see this rotation. So I'll just make all of these guys 0 and then maybe make this one 90. And that's fine. Then I can now move this in that way. That's fine. So this is what I have right now. But now the thing with this is that you can see that it's casting the shadow down there. So that's good. But it's not really giving me the interest like I want, right? So this is where this effect now comes. So notice once you have this light selected, it's very important. Once you have this light selected, you have an option to under your texture or your shader editor, you can click on this use node, or you can come to the light settings here and then click on this use node here. Once you do that, it's going to activate it also here. Then you now start having use node effects coming up right here. But now we've said we should use node. So basically what they did is to create a light output and then put an emission to that light output. So so right now it's emitting pure white emission to that light output, which is still the same thing we had. But I want to break that light away. So what I'll do is first off, if I click on this color and I drag out, I can look for wave textures. For instance, you will see wave texture. I want to put that in my color. So if I click on this wave texture in the color and I just click, you start to see what's happening now, that you are now beginning to have this wave effect. So if I start to do an increase or reduce this, you see what it's beginning to look like, right? So maybe I'll just make this 2 or 1. And that's how I got that effect you saw just now. So you can also start to add a little bit of distortion and then detail. So you have that interest. So this is when you are using shader from Blender to create that interest. And you can also see that it's casting it on top of your model or your product. So what if I have my own texture that I want to use to light this environment? Is it possible for me to do that? Yes, it is. I have some textures that I've downloaded, which are these textures. So I'm going to bring this here. This is just like a tree texture, which is black and white, and just add that into the color section and start to see that feel you can see here now. So because of the way this color, this texture is, you also see the effect is really not as sharp as we want. So what we just need to do is either to come to this strength, increase this strength, and we'll start to see this strength, the effect on this object. So let me just make it 3.5, and we are seeing this. Also, you can also drive this leaves by increasing the size. So what I'll do is just come to this, Control T to bring up this texture coordinator mapper, come to the scale and change this. If I make this 0.5 and you start to see it's increasing this. So let's bring this to like 0.25 so that it will enlarge. So basically the way the texture goes is the lower the size, the scale, the larger the texture, and the higher the scale value, the smaller the texture, all right? So I'll just put mine at 0.2. So we have this texture coming out here. And then we could also come to this size. Remember what the size will do, how sharp your shadow will be. So if I bring the size a little bit down, it will also have impact on what you're seeing here, basically. So I think I'll increase this so that we have more of that. I also do not want to see this edge. So what I'll do is I'll just move this guy up a little bit just to get that interest out of the way. And then this is basically how you can light your environment using the Gobos texture. And now we fake the effect of the leaf and all of that, and then that's been added here. So there are some textures that I've downloaded that I already have. I think I will just quickly bring them out and use here. So you see how all of these textures will play a major role in making this look nice. So let's just come here. I think I have some here. But basically, that's how you create that. Okay, so just what I'm doing is just an extra to what I have here. So let's see if I have some um, gobos here. So I have some gobos from Grayscale Gorilla, and they are really nice gobos and all of that. So you might need to check their websites to get yours from them. So we have some animated gobos. I think I will just talk about these animated gobos also, so that that will just be like a bonus. But let's start with the plant gobos, or I can actually do a window gobos. So let's see. Okay, so let's say we want to use this. So I'll just drag this over here and then put this into my texture, and that will see right off the bat you start to see that effects coming here. And then if you also have other things you need to do, or maybe you want to still have more gobos, you can just switch them around, and then that gives you the feel. So this is for still. But what do we do for animated? That animated, there are other things you need to still do. So let's say I'm going to have this animated tree loops. All right. So what I can do here is to change this from still image to image sequence. All right. So once I change this to image sequence, it's looking for image sequence, but we can't find any image sequence. So what do I need to do is I need to go and load an image sequence. So I'll just click here, go into that same folder where I have animated. So we have some leaves. We can just pick any of these. So let's just say this one is what I want. I'll just hit to select all and open. It's going to open this here. And then what I just need to do is click on this auto refresh so that it can automatically refresh for all of the images we have here. So let's see. So this is all right. So I think that's basically it for here. And now it's looking too much. So what we can still do is bring this down a little bit so we can start to see where the leaves are. So I'm bringing this to 1, and also maybe bring this from 200 to like 120, and start to see the leaves right there. So if I come here and I start to play, you will see this updated. So let's see what we're missing here. Properties. Let's click on this. Auto refresh. Texture map. So we don't need anything here. Image sequence. So basically, this is actually the caveat to it, having this auto refresh. And I think it's because of my system, which is not really responsive. So by the time I do a rendering of this, it will automatically refresh for every frames that you are playing through. And you see the leaf also changing for every of those frames. And that's just the caveat to using a PNG sequence as a texture. You just need to make sure you change this from still single image to either movie if it's a movie file, or but in my case it's PNG sequence. You choose PNG sequence and then very important to click on this auto refresh so that it automatically refreshes every frame that is moving. So basically this is how you create your Gobos lights on your objects. And this is what I wanted to share with you guys. If you feel this was helpful, please do give me a like and a thumbs up. If you are new to my channel, please do subscribe because I do tutorials like this every time. So you have a wonderful day and God bless you. Bye.